Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to my Southampton series for Football Manager 2016. This is the preseason episode of Season 3, and yeah, we've got quite a bit to get over, we'll get through today. I've done quite a bit of transfer activity, as I did last season, but I think things have, well, there's one disappointing factor, but apart from that, things have gone quite well. We'll just leave it at that, and we'll get into things right now, I guess. We'll go through the outs first of all. Alright, so Matthew Targett was never really going to get a start. He's that left back, a bit young, not really ever challenging, not really ever good enough. He didn't really have the potential to be a first team left back. Sold him to Hull City for 775k. We then sold Jordan Turnbull to Leicester. It's a pretty decent centre back, but we've actually got two guys that are actually better than him, and yeah, one of them's quite impressive. He's done really well on his loan last season, and I've loaned him out again this season to Derby, who are still in the Premier League. But yeah, we got rid of Jordan Turnbull to Leicester for 6 mil. That's a pretty good transfer fee for a player of his quality, I believe. We then let go of all these players here, quite a lot of youth team players. Lloyd Isgrove's probably the only one there that was even half decent, and that's saying a bit too much there. We then sold Fraser Foster. Obviously, his pace had decreased in that first season. Was quite unimpressive. 29 years old. That's not that old for a goalkeeper, I know. Um, but he was complaining about first team football as well last season, so we let him go to Celtic for 1.9 mil. Make of it what you will, but I think it was good to get him out of the club, just to stop the complaining. And I don't think he was actually that good. And with 2 acceleration and 3 pace, you're always susceptible. I play a high line with this tactic, and if he has to come out of his goal or out of the goal box and try and challenge a player, in a 50-50, he's probably not going to get there, and it's not going to be a 50-50. So yeah. Moving on, Jake Hesketh was sold. Well, he was let go of on a free transfer to Rotherham. His contract just ran out. Wellington Silva failed to get his work permit again. So he's going to be spending at least another 120 days at Barrow, our feeder club for work permits in Bulgaria, which is really disappointing. We then sold Andrea Zivkovic, the absolute beast of a wonder kid that I brought in the first season for 1 mil. He had a release clause in his contract to Champions League clubs for 39.5 mil, and obviously, as you can see, Borussia Dortmund came in and offered us 39.5 mil up front, which is quite crazy. You don't often get it all up front, and yeah, it was obviously accepted without me having anything to say about it. I did offer him a new contract to try and get him to stay at the club. I think I offered him something like 70k in wages. Yeah, there's really no chance. And yeah, that's a massive loss for us. We did get a massive transfer fee, don't get me wrong, but I think he's probably worth a bit more than that. I actually believe he's better than Mane. In a season or two time, he will probably be one of the best inside forward, wingers in the game, and yeah, I'm really sad about that. But anyway, moving on. Jeremy Mathieu was sold to Sampdoria for 500k. 33 years old now. Stats were starting to decrease a little bit on his physicals there, and yeah, I don't know. He just didn't perform well enough for me over the last season. So we let him go. Sampdoria just offered 500k out of the blue, and I accepted it. We then sold Zambrano as well to Sunderland for 2.8 mil. This guy played like crap last season and was just constantly complaining about first team football. He was probably the worst I've ever seen on any game as far as complaining and kicking up a fuss. And that's saying something, because on my Ajax series last year, the Dutch players only series, a lot of those Dutch players wanted to move to bigger clubs, and none of them were as bad as this guy. Sam Gallagher was let go on loan to Hearts. Just get him a bit of game time. Hopefully he'll, do something, increase, in any stats would be nice. He's pretty much not increased at all, and this will be his third season under my manager reign. So yeah, Jason McCarthy was the guy I mentioned before, the centre back. As you can see, he looks quite good, a lot better than the other guy, apart from his determination. But he improved a lot last. I think he was on loan at Aberdeen. Yeah, and as you can see, 36 games started and he played really well, over a 7 match rating. That's quite good for a centre back. And yeah, he's on loan at Derby, who are in the Premier League. So that'll be interesting, and a pretty decent level of competition for him to play at. Okay, so we go to the transfers that we brought in this season. Simon Roger Katembwe, 2.4 million from Standard, 16-year-old Belgian left back, and as you can see, he looks amazing. He really does look amazing. His physicals are all pretty impressive for a 16-year-old. Look at those mentals for a 16-year-old. 16 leadership for a 16-year-old. 16. 16 tackling as well. So yeah, his technicals aren't great, but he's pretty good defensively. Not great going forward, but he's 16 and he's got years and years to improve. So very happy with that signing. The next signing was another youth player, Kenneth Fransen from AGF for 600k. He is a Danish 16-year-old regen striker, and as you can see, he also looks very good. Lacking a lot in his technicals, overall, but he's got it. He's got the stats where he needs them: 16 finishing, 15 heading, and 11 dribbling. First touch needs a bit of work, as does his technique, I reckon. 14 composure, 17 determination, 16 flair. 12 off the ball's not great, but we'll try and get that to improve. And some of his physicals are really good, like his 15 acceleration, 15 pace, 13 strength. He's 185 centimeters, so he's not small by any means, and I'm very happy with that. And runs down the ball with the right, moves into channels, which is quite weird preferred moves for a striker. They're more winger type preferred moves. But anyway, we then needed to bring in a backup goalkeeper, so Sergio Romero was transfer listed at Man United. We brought him in for 3.8 mil. I think he's a lot better than Fraser Foster in my eyes. I know his reflexes are a bit low there, but he's going to be the backup, and I think he'll do a job if we need to call upon him at any stage during the season. The next player we brought in was Keisuke Honda. Many of you guys will probably be quite familiar with him. He's played at AC Milan, he's played in Russia, and he's probably one of if not the best Japanese player in this present day. Obviously, being Australian, we know the Japanese very well from the Asian Cup and the World Cup in 2006. So I'm very familiar with this guy. And he's still very, very good, even at the age of 31. Will probably be starting most of the games at AMC for us. And of course, it's also good for Japanese shirt sales. Geez, that was hard to pronounce. But anyway, yeah, very good transfer on a free. He's only on, 45k? I thought he was on 50, but he's on less than that. The next player we brought in, we kind of splashed the cash here a little bit. We needed to bring in another winger / inside forward, and we brought in Filip Kostic from Stuttgart for 13 mil. Pretty decent guy. Definitely can play out on the right as an inside forward. He's got the pace. He's got decent technicals. He's nowhere near as good as Zivkovic, but he can play on the left as well. And Tadic has actually picked up a 3 to 4 month injury, so we really need to bring in another winger. Of course, with Silva not getting his work permit, kind of put us under the pump a little bit. The next player we brought in was a new left back, and that is Lavin Kurzawa. He was brought in for 5 mil from PSG, and I think that is an absolute bargain for a player of this quality. He's only 24 years old, 10 caps for the French national team, good pace, good physicals, mentals, and technicals. He's very good going forward, so yeah, definitely happy with that purchase there. And the final player I brought in, again, got screwed over with the work permit, Juan Iturbe from Roma. You'll probably be quite familiar with him if you've ever played FIFA. He's kind of as good as, I don't know, on Football Manager. Maybe not, but he's the inside forward that I wanted to get. He was transfer listed at Roma. He's got all the stats that I needed him to have, stats in to be a quality inside forward. And yeah, Argentinian, didn't get a work permit, and he's at Barrow now. Well, he's about to leave for Barrow as we speak. And yeah, he was brought in for 7.5 mil, which is, again, quite a bargain if you consider, I don't really want to talk about it, but Zivkovic was sold for nearly 40 million, and he's 7.5. Even if it doesn't work out, I think we can still get a profit off him. I mean, his value's already at 12.75, and he's not even at the club really. So, yeah. All in all, we spent 32.3 million, brought in 51.47. So we made nearly 20 mil profit, which is very good. Another thing I should mention, I won't be able to find it, but we were under subject of a not a transfer takeover, of a tycoon takeover. The guy that was trying to take us over was planning on putting in 280 million into the club for transfers and stuff like that. And then it all fell through for some reason. It said because of the finances, we didn't show him the finances or something like that. I'd love to be able to show you the mail message, but it was probably about a month ago. And yeah, I was trying to bring a few players in, and then obviously you get put under the transfer embargo, so that kind of screwed me around a bit as well. Too bad that didn't come. I don't think selling players really affects that anyway. But we'll get into the fixtures now. Had a pretty decent preseason, as you can see, remained undefeated. Picked up a couple of draws though. The first coming against Beijing. We did a tour of China, as you can probably see there, 3 Chinese clubs. Beijing was up first. Huanmi opened the scoring for us there. Kleber got one back for them, however. We then versed Guangzhou Evergrande, very good Chinese team. We beat them 2-0. Aihanacho and Huanmi once again on the score sheet. They had a player sent off, so it was pretty smooth sailing. We then versed Chengdu Blades, who are a feeder team for Sheffield United, which is a very weird, pairing, I suppose. But we beat them 6-1, absolutely destroyed them. Aihanacho got a hat-trick. Huanmi, Tadic, and Van Dijk on the score sheet for us, and then Wu Wixiong on the score sheet for them. We then played an 8-goal thriller against Boca Juniors. I'm actually going to go into this one because it's quite interesting. Carlos Tevez managed to get a brace for himself. He's still an absolute beast. I was contemplating bringing him to Southampton. He's on low wages. He wouldn't be very much, but he might fail to get a work permit unless he does have a second nationality, which he might have because he did play in England for quite a few years. The next player that scored for them was Lodiero, who I think used to play for Ajax, I believe, or it was some Dutch club he played for, might have been PSV. But yeah, very familiar with him. I think from FM 2011 it might have been. Yeah, I remember him being quite a good player back then. And then this guy, I don't know who this guy is, but Valdala got their final goal for them. Dusan Tadic opened the scoring for us. Ben Arthur managed to get a brace very late on. As you can see, we scored 3 goals within, 7 minutes really? Ben Arthur in the 85th, Huanmi then in the 87th, and then Ben Arthur in the 92nd to equalise the game for us. And yeah, made sure we didn't lose that game. We then managed to beat Valencia 1-0. Borja San Emeterio, the Spanish young right back, getting the goal against a Spanish team. And Valencia actually won the Europa League last season. So getting a 1-0 victory over them, especially away from home as well, all these games were away, was a very impressive result in my eyes. And then we versed Yeovil. I had to play them in a friendly with the transfer that we made last season for White, I believe, the English striker we bought from Yeovil, obviously. And we managed to beat them 2-0. Huanmi and Aihanacho on the score sheet for us there. Ben Arthur missed the penalty. So yeah, that's basically going to wrap things up as far as what we need to get through before the game. One more thing I want to go into is the board. Of course, we are expanding the stadium, as you can see there. And if I go in and show you, we're expanding it by a decent amount, to be fair. I didn't think it would be this much, but our current capacity at St Mary's has been reduced by 2,600. so it's just under 30,000, or 100 under 30,000. But yeah, they're putting in 16,000 seats. So I'm not sure if that's 16,000 on top of that number, or if it's these two numbers plus together and then 16,000. I'm not too sure, but anyway, another 16,000 seats is pretty amazing for the stadium, and I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, good news, good news. Alright, so we'll get into the game now. Sorry for a pause there. I had to yawn very loudly. Um, so yeah, today's lineup, it's going to be a bit interesting. I'm not too sure how things are going to go. Kazuwa isn't really match fit. He hasn't played a game for us yet. He only just recently got in. And then we've got... where is he? Oh yeah, Kostic, who is in the starting lineup as well today. But he is match fit, so I'm quite happy with that. The starting lineup today will be Rulli in goals. Sergio Romero will only get a place on the bench today, as you would expect, because Rulli is our first team goalkeeper. San Emeterio will be right back today, taking Sakai's place. As you can see, he's just performed really, really well recently, as has Sakai. You know, it's really hard to choose between the two. Sakai performed really well last season, towards the end of last season, I should say. But we're going to go with Emeterio today. Chambers and Van Dijk, of course. He had that loan last season. As you can see, he didn't play too well for Sociedad, but I'm going to give him a chance. He's played well in pre-season, and we'll see how he goes here today. And Kazuwa will be our left back. Gil Romero, I didn't really mention him, but he did get his work permit, as you can expect, and he's looked really, really tidy in pre-season. Looks very solid. So he'll be starting probably most of the games this season. Balic gets his place as our deep line playmaker. Honda comes in as the AMC advanced playmaker there. Ben Arfa will start as our inside forward on the right. Kostic on the left wing, and Iheanacho up front. The bench today will be Romero, Font, Sakai, Fellaini, Classy, Reed, and Juanmi. And yeah, these are our injuries. Gaston Ramirez, Tadic, and Bertrand. So yeah, we've got a few players out. We've got a little bit of depth now. We really do. We've got quite a few decent youth players that could do a job. You know, they're not tested, but they could do a decent job. They've really improved, a lot of them. The two centre mids that I brought in have just been on fire recently. And one of our youth prospects from the first season, I should probably show you him actually. I'll go through my youth prospects for a second here. Dan Prosser doesn't look too good, but he was, you know, touted very, very highly. He's improving, so that's good. I think he was at the end of we got him last season, as well as these three guys here. They were all from our last intake. Obviously, Katembwe was just brought in. Looks very good, 4-star potential. Franston as well, he's in the same boat. We just mentioned him. We got Morgan Eza. Is one of the midfield boys I was just talking about. Looks very good. He's improving nicely, to be fair. And quite happy with him there. Graham White's the other guy from Yeovil that we signed, that I was just mentioning. As we go down here, we've got James McAllister, sorry. He's from the first youth intake that we had, as you can see by here. And he looks very good. He's improving. Well, he doesn't look very good, but he looks decent, and he's improving. And I'm happy about that. I really do want to try and bring through a lot of, you know, if not our own youth prospects, you know, ones that we bought really, really young, like Scott Mitchell from West Ham. He's looking pretty decent. You know, might not be too far off getting a start in the Cups. Adrian Smith was brought in the first intake as well. Doesn't look too good. We go down here, we got a couple of decent players. Nick Hurst is the other guy I brought in. Where did I bring him in from? Birmingham, that's right, for 900k. So he's been here a little while. He's improved massively. I think I've had quite a few boys tutoring him, and he's got 18 determination now. So, yeah, physicals are looking quite tasty as well. And yeah, the final guy is Leon McCourt. Was the leading prospect in the first youth intake, sorry. And he looks very good as well, but the unfortunate thing about this guy is, well, it doesn't say it here anymore, but he's very injury prone. He's spent lots and lots of time out. If I can go to his history and we'll go to his injuries, as you can see, he's just been out for a long time, picking up, 4-week, 2-week injuries here and there, fracturing his arm, damaging his kneecaps and stuff. But he looks very good. He also might be, in line for a start in one of the cups in the future. But anyway, that's that as far as the youth prospects go. We'll advance here. Don't want this preseason episode to go too long, but we've got a lot of boys needing new numbers here. And we've got quite a few debuts here today as well. So the team cohesion probably isn't going to be very good. And, that could cause us a few problems here today. Crystal Palace go into the game as the favourites. We'll apply some advice there. And, I'm not too sure which option to go with. I might say I expect to win passionately, but that's probably not the right option to have a go with. Okay, so we've won the ball back. Obviously, Virgil van Dijk is going to be... I think he's going to either be hit or miss, but we've got a corner here. Kostic, Balic shoots on. Oh, and Virgil's in. He's onside. That's 1-0. Okay, so I was just talking he's going to be hit or miss. He's just scored a goal within the first 5 minutes of the game, so if he was ever going to have a good start, that's probably it, and that's probably the best start he could have. He's a centre-back, and he's just scored a goal from a corner, so yeah, he hasn't really done anything too great defensively yet, which is probably what I'm, worried about, but anyway. Ben Arthur here. Emeterio plays a really long ball out to Kazoa. It was a pretty decent switch though. What can he do though? Kazoa crosses, and that's a good save there by McCarthy. I think the goalkeeper is McCarthy. Okay, so we're looking pretty decent so far. Balic just took a massive knock, and he looks exhausted, but he's going to have to stay on because he's... Ooh, that was a horrible throw-in. That was lucky to get the ball back there. Ben Arthur now. He's another player that kind of needs to have a decent few games, otherwise he's going to lose his position once Tadic gets back in a couple of months. So yeah, he needs to pull his finger out. He wasn't too impressive last season. And he's got a real good chance here with the loss of Zivkovic to Dortmund. So, this is not good. Wickham's in behind. And that is a good save by Rulli there. It is a corner, however. And that's cleared away there by Honda. And Iheanacho got to it. He looks very good now. I probably should have showed you his stats. That was a good tackle there. Crystal Palace have Arbeloa. Anyway, Ben Arthur with the free kick, and that's a horrible one. Moving on. Okay. It's only 1-0, and that was what a tackle there. Virgil van Dijk. I might have talked a little bit of crap about him just before, but he's impressed me so far in the first 30 minutes of the game. Of course, we did lose to pretty... Well, they're not main centre-backs. Oh, Wickham's in behind. That's 1-1. Yep. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah, we lost two centre-backs that were pretty decent on paper, but just didn't really perform well enough for us. Matthew was always kind of a left-back more so than a centre-back, despite having the perfect stats for a centre-back. But anyway, and they're in behind again. Sarabia. Oh, he's hit the post. That was lucky. We're living dangerously. We're giving the ball away a lot. It's really quite frustrating. Not too sure. Alright, we've got a corner. That's kind of good. We need something. Kostic. Ooh, what's he doing there? That was a risky touch. Emensirio, and he's given the ball away. That is piss poor, mate. Sarabia is in behind again. Out to Ward, that's offside surely. He looked a mile offside then. Good save anyway by Rulli there. And that will basically be half-time there. Yeah, as you can see, they've got Arbeloa. Very interesting transfer, that is. Okay, so we've gone in 1-1 at half-time. I'm not too sure. Should I say I'm far from pleased? Yeah, because don't want to do that either. I seem to do that quite a lot when I'm playing windowed. I obviously don't play windowed when I'm not recording, so yeah. I always think, oh, Ben Arthur, oh, what a ball. Oh my god, Honda. How have you not scored that goal? He had a wide open net and he shot it straight at McCarthy. McCarthy was like, oh my god. That was your debut goal there. It was a debut goal. That sucks, dude. No way! No way they counter-attack and... oh my god, that is bullshit. How is that even possible? I've never seen a highlight like that before in my life, coming off a kickoff. That's ridiculous. Should have been our goal. Oh, anyway. That's gone in! Goal line technology. Goal line technology, that's bullshit. Oh, we're getting screwed over. It's a live commentary curse again. Come on. Oh, go Honda. Finish. Oh, that's his third shot. His third shot he's had that he pretty much could have scored from. He's got a free kick now. And he scores. What a free kick, son. Take a bow. Take a bow. Keisuke Honda gets in. Did get his debut goal off a brilliant free kick, but he should have. That should be his fourth goal of the game, really. Ben Arthur with the corner. It's cleared away. Hanacho will get it though. What can he do with it? Probably lose the ball. No, he gives it to Ben Arthur to lose it. Yep. Lovely. Good job, boys. Good job. Oh, Wickham's in behind. Oh, and he just shrugs my player off. Lovely strength show. Oh, what are we doing, boys? Clear the ball. Thank you. My god, that was shambles back there. Okay, we're going to make a sub. I don't really have a striker to bring on at the moment. We've got Juan Me, but that's about it. And, yeah, quite a few of our players aren't playing too well. Okay, what can we do here? I guess we'll just... yeah... oh, I don't know. Alright, this is what we'll do. We'll take Ben Arthur off. He's played the worst out of everyone so far. We'll put Kostic on the right and Juan Me on the left. And we'll test out Kostic as the inside forward for the last 20 minutes here. And just see if we can nick a goal and try and win this game, because I really want to win a game in the first game of the season. We never start well enough, I should say. Oh, we've conceded. Oh my god. Punchian. He shits when he wants. Man, that sucks. We're just conceding a lot. Kazawa's having a bad game. He wasn't match fit, but we don't have... Bertrand's injured, so... there's not a lot I can do, really. He should be better than he is. And he's given the ball away there. It's a risky pass to play. Wickham, Cabai, Scott Dan, Dykes, Sarabia, who's been tearing us up. Chambers, good header away. Can we even get the ball to a player, please? Come on. Ledley out to Punchian. Who crosses it? Sarabia. And that was a curling shot. That was lovely. Credit where it's due. How have they scored 4 goals against us? That's just disgusting. How have we conceded 4 goals to Crystal Palace? Should be ashamed of ourselves. Fair play to them. They really took the game to us, but we were absolutely crap. And I just can't seem to win my live commentary games. So I'm guessing you guys are probably finding it quite amusing. Whenever you watch an episode, you see me lose, and that was a bad loss. That really was quite a bad loss. 4-2 loss to Crystal Palace on the first day of the season. Not too good. They've scored 4 goals from 8 shots on target. We scored 2 from 6. So yeah, I guess it's kind of even. 19 fouls. That is very high. But anyways, that's going to wrap up this episode, guys. It's been a pretty long one. And after that result, I'm quite depressed. So I'm going to save the game here and maybe go to sleep. And we'll start back up tomorrow morning and take it from there, I suppose. If you've enjoyed the episode, guys, drop a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.